Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I am your host, Rabina Rastaban, aka the Realist Astrologer. And today I'm going to present the free reading for those who provided their birth information as well as the birth information of their mate or their boo or their bae or whatever you want to call him or her. So the person that I selected, her birth date is December 26, 1990. So that makes her a Capricorn and a very strong Capricorn at that. And his birthday is September 10th, 1986. So she put the birth dates down and she wrote a comment saying, I need help. And basically, she couldn't be more right about that. So I definitely see her being in crisis with respect to her relationship to this guy that she's dealing with. So when I look at her chart, I see that she has a stellium in Capricorn, um, major stellium. A stellium basically is when you have three or more planets or the sun and moon in one sign. So basically, she has Sun, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, Saturn, and the North Node in Capricorn. Her North Node is at the 29th degree of Capricorn. I mentioned I mentioned the 29th degree a lot. So that 29th degree is very critical, and it denotes desperation and also a feeling of being under pressure. So just off the bat, when I look at her chart and also when I look at her numerology, she's a 26, which breaks down to 8. Basically, if uh, and let me talk to you directly. So basically, if you are not in a business partnership with this man, then he's the wrong one right off the bat, because the way your numerology and chart is, and especially with Venus being in Capricorn, you being born on the 26th breaks down to 8, deals with Saturn, deals with business. Your the love of your life, your soulmate or what have you, most likely will also be your business partner, or you will meet him through your line of work. Now, you could have met this guy through your line of work. However, if the two of you aren't starting a business together, or at least in the same field, or have the same mindset in terms of business and finances, then it's never going to work out. Another problem you have is that with all that Capricorn energy, especially with your Venus in Capricorn, you have a tendency to want to take care of your mate and assume all the responsibilities in the relationship. Capricorn women in particular, they often attract men who just want to use them and exploit them, or the man might have a problem with employment. If the two of you live together, you might find yourself always paying all the bills, or always having to pick up the slack, or always having to take care of him. So I see that taking place in this particular relationship. His Mars is on your Venus. So his Mars is at the 17th degree of Capricorn, and it's right on your Venus, which is at the 17th degree of Capricorn. So that tells me that he's coming from an opportunistic standpoint. So he sees you as basically providing that stability, that security, and maybe even money in this relationship. Um, he sees you more as the mature one, even though he's older than you are. So you're definitely more responsible. You're definitely more disciplined. You're definitely more ambitious when it comes to, business, and when it comes to your career. Um, with his Mars in Capricorn, that's a really good spot for Mars to be. That's a good sign for Mars to be in. However, it can make someone opportunistic. So, with his Mars being on your Venus, you have to watch for the tendency for his motives to be about just pure selfishness and him getting ahead. So, also, what I noticed about him, he has Venus conjunct Pluto. So, that can deal with him being kind of like a parasite in relationships. It can also deal with exploitation. Basically, he's prone to get in codependent relationships. However, he also has a strong need for freedom at the same time. So, he's a classic case of wanting to have his cake and eat it too. And he definitely does that with you. Um, there's some aspects in terms of your synastry. Basically, it's the compatibility between you and him. When I put the two of your charts together, I see some key issues. But what's interesting is I do see a high degree of compatibility, which is why the two of you continue to deal with each other and why you continue to get past your difficulties. However, and trines are positive aspects. So those are things that make your relationship harmonious. However, a lot of trines, either in an individual's chart or in the case of a synastry chart, can mean that one person can easily exploit the other, or one person easily has the upper hand. So some of the trines that you have with this guy is Sun trine Venus, Sun trine Saturn, Mercury trine Saturn. So that Saturn right there provides that structure, that responsibility, that security. So he's really benefiting from this relationship with you through security, through even financial security. Basically, you provide that structure. You're basically his rock. However, his Mars is in square to your moon. His Venus is in square to your North Node, and his Saturn is making a semi-square to your Venus. And all of these are challenging aspects. So this tells me that, again, he could be coming from an opportunistic position. He could be exploiting you or using you at times, or maybe at times you feel used. And the main aspect that I see that's indication of frequent separations or frequent breakups is his Saturn in Sagittarius making a challenging aspect to your Venus. So that right there can point to a relationship where it's constantly on the rocks, or there might be a lot of this stop and go, or there might be constant breakups, or he might need some space at times and then you're just left hanging. So he has a strong need for a lot of space, but he also has a strong need for commitment and to join up with women. However, that's coming from a purely selfish standpoint, especially when I did the tarot reading about the two of you. So I'll get into that in a minute. But basically, like I said, he wants his cake and eat it too. He wants to be free, but in order to get that freedom, he has to latch on to other people. And that deals with his numerology as well. He was born on the 10th. 10 people, if they are not evolved, will tend to hitch a ride onto other people's success or other people's popularity, or, their acclaim or whatnot. So I feel like that is exactly what he's doing in this relationship with you. He's basically hitching a ride onto your success or onto your ambitions, onto your financial security, onto your self-discipline, and he's basically benefiting from that. So when I do the tarot reading between the two of you, I looked at it from his perspective and I looked at it from your perspective. So basically, I'm seeing that right now he feels like you have given him another chance once again, but he does feel like he's on edge. He doesn't want to make a mistake, so he's kind of walking on eggshells right now. He sees, again, like I said, he sees you as giving him another chance, wanting to work things out, wanting to get past your grievances, letting bygones be bygones. So I do see him being active in your life right now. However, what his needs are is he needs, basically his needs are coming from a purely selfish standpoint. He wants to continue to be able to have his cake and eat it too, and have the relationship on his terms, and basically to be able to get over on you. He's basically using you. That's what I'm seeing it as. So correct me if I'm wrong. Please, feel free to write a comment, or you can contact me in private, karma3675@aol.com. That's my email, so we could discuss this further. But anyway, I do see him basically just using you. And he is at an advantage because you keep holding on. That's all that Capricorn energy. You're holding on because you see potential in him, and it gives you that sense of security, and you like to take care of people. You like to manage people. So you actually derive benefit from helping him out financially and managing his life for him. Now, you have a need to basically become his wife and become his main attraction, be his main girl, be the woman of his dreams. However, he's not interested in that at all. Um, he sees you being hopeful that, one day he'll turn around and, see the light and see you as who you want him to see you as, basically the wife or the woman of his dreams. You probably also want to have his baby. And he does, his strength is that, like I said, you keep holding on. You're in it for the long haul, and that's Capricorn. Capricorn is in it for the long haul, even if they're getting beat down in the process, because Capricorn tends to punish themselves, and oftentimes Capricorn women will punish themselves through relationships. So towards the end of the year, because I did this reading that would go through to the end of the year, I see you kind of taking a stand and, being more assertive and being more aggressive in terms of what you want. And I actually see you kind of, breaking free from the ties that you have from him. But I see him still trying to keep hold of you, but still wanting to have this stuff on the side, these activities on the side, other women or whatever, what have you. So the overall theme of the relationship, I got the Six of Swords card. So the Six of Swords deals with always wanting to smooth things out, always giving him another chance, always just wanting to just go with the flow despite things being like just messed up or things being one-sided. So you're content with, continuing to go on even though you're dealing with pain. You still want to continue on with this guy, and you always want to help him out and help him to overcome crisis and challenges. So basically you're his savior in this relationship. Now the advice that I can give to you is that basically this relationship is not for you. This man is not for you. It's a relationship of duplicity. He's basically fooling you. Things are not all that they seem. And my advice to you is to try to break free from this relationship as soon as possible, because it's toxic and it's only going to wear you down. So again, I can't say this enough. This guy is basically selfish. He's using you. He's exploiting you. And with all that Capricorn energy that you're dealing with, he's basically met his match, because you're basically willing to lay down and allow him to basically do whatever he wants, and you're always there to pick up the slack and to bail him out of, hard times or whatever. So that's my free reading. So the next free reading will take place on or around September 1st. So please leave comments at the bottom on your birth date, his birth date, or vice versa. And if you have a little question, or if you want me to look into something in particular about the relationship, please feel free to write a little comment, or write a little background story as well. You don't have to give the person's name or anything. But yeah, hopefully I'll get a lot of responses. I got a lot of pretty good amount of responses the first time. Hopefully I'll get even more. Peace and blessings.